is whether they are using it for residential or commercial purposes. Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll go to the next one. Transfer of development rights. This is also an amendment to the notification. See, what happens is the builders, the persons engaged in construction and selling of apartments, okay, they may not have always their own land, right? They will not have own land. So, they will search for the landowners and they will tell them, you provide us with the land, I will develop the project, we will share the result. Okay? So, therefore, they will enter into an agreement with the landowner, not for buying, because builders won't have that much of money. It's a huge investment, right? So, they enter into an agreement called Joint Development Agreement. What is that? Joint Development Agreement. Come on, let us develop together and share the result, output, 50-50, 60-40, depending upon area, etc. Now, by means of this agreement, the landowner transfers development rights to the builder. Okay, he is allowing the builder to come occupy the land, develop it, okay, so that they can share the results. So, the landowner is providing a service. He is doing something, right? Barter, exchange, etc. it is covering. For consideration, in result he is getting something. It is a supply, so it is taxable. Transfer of development rights by the landowner to the builder is a supply. And now come here. Now what it says? Services supplied by any person by way of transfer of development rights or floor space index, the other way of measuring it, for consideration, for construction of a project by a promoter. Understood the concept now? Any person, what he is doing? Services by way of TDR, transfer of development rights to the builder. Now, the promoter has to pay the tax under reverse charge mechanism. Because landowners, mostly unorganized, even in a village you can go and enter into a joint development agreement with the farmers of the land and develop a project. So they said, no, I will catch the promoter, you pay the tax. In fact, it is a very big story. It is covered under notification number 3/2019 CTR. If it is a final, students, it is applicable. 3/2019. There the full story will be there as to construction of apartments, residential, commercial, affordable, non-affordable, 1%, 5%. Okay. There we will see if it is separately covered. I have given a note, you see. In case of construction and selling of residential or commercial apartments, by entering into a joint development agreement between the landowner and promoter, whereby the landowner transfers the development rights to the builder so that the builder construct the complex, and in return the landowner shall be entitled to certain amount of flats or money or both. Okay. So this clause of RCM states the tax payable on such TDR by the landowner to the builder promoter shall be paid by the promoter under RCM. Enough if you can read this slide and go. Next, similarly, long-term lease of land. Sometimes what happens, government grants very long-term on lease basis. For example, to give few examples, CMR Central, Madripalam area. It is given for some years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years on lease basis. So you will come forward and say, sir, I will construct a complex and generate the revenue. Okay, I will give the property on lease, land. Now what is the deal is, During the lease term, you will pay some lease rental, and at the end of the lease period, you will leave the property and go, the building. Got the point? Whatever they constructed, no, they have to leave it and go. The 60 years they will enjoy as if they are the owners. That is the concept of long-term lease of land. Similarly, now opposite to Oda complex, some new construction is going on. If you people see, I think some that is car parking. That is also for long-term lease. Okay. So long-term lease of land, 30 years, minimum 30 years or more, to any person against consideration in the form of upfront amount or periodical rent for construction of a project. The promoter has to pay the tax. It may be government or it may be any other person. Next important point, director services to a company. Services supplied by a director of a company or a body corporate to the said company shall attract RCM. See, we should now go back to Schedule 3. First point. What is that? Services provided by an employee to the employer in the course of employment are neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So therefore, now what is the arrangement between the company and the director? What is the contractual agreement? If the contractual agreement is in the form of employer-employee, some executive directors may be taken as an employee, others not. So you have to check whether the agreement between the director and employee, is there an employment agreement or other than employment agreement. This clause is applicable only when there is other than employee agreement. If that is the case, then sitting fees, director remuneration, etc. will be paid, no, for attending the board meetings and all. They are all covered here. The company has to pay under reverse charge mechanism. But you can also say, sir, the agreement between me and the director is an employment agreement. I am paying salary. I am deducting tax, TDS under section 192 under the Income Tax Act. Okay, and my director who is showing those receipts as salary income in his income tax return, then you need not pay under reverse charge mechanism. For many companies, this is a tax plan. Got the point? It's a tax planning. To avoid GST, they may enter into an employment agreement. That's maybe an examination question. Okay. So you have to see in the case of director remuneration whether it is paid as a salary or by way of remuneration as a director. If it is salary, then you should say it is exempt in the hands of the company or in the hands of the director, as it is a employee services to the employer in the course of employment. It's a beautiful point, another beautiful point. Okay. Insurance agent, you are an insurance agent, LIC, etc. Commission will be paid to you, but the GST will be paid by the insurance company. Recovery agent, some people will be there, no? On behalf of the bank, they will come to you for recovering the dues. Similarly, in the case of recovery agent, the banks will pay GST under reverse charge mechanism. Copyrights by music composer, photographer, artist. If you are a music director or a composer or a photographer and you are permitting the use or enjoyment of copyright relating to your music, your album, to the producer or the music company, Sony, etc. These people will make an album and they will give it to Sony, whatever the T series, etc. Okay. Then they will use it for a specified period or specified number of use, etc. In that case, it is not the music director who is liable to pay tax. It is the producer who is taking that copyright from the music director or the photographer is the person who is liable to pay tax. Simple one. Supply of services by members of overseeing committee to Reserve Bank of India. There will be a overseeing committee of the Reserve Bank of India that will be located outside India. So they will be providing services to Reserve Bank of India. In fact, it is an import of service. Okay, and Reserve Bank of India will pay the tax under reverse charge mechanism, simple one. Then services supplied by individual direct selling agents other than a body corporate. If you are a direct selling agent, it is a Companies Act topic, selling agent. That is also a simple one. I will not go into that. You can read from the slide. Now come to security services. Security services. Services provided by way of supply of security personnel provided to a registered person attracts RCM. See, there are two similar kind of services, but both are not same. That is supply of manpower supply services. For example, big shops, big retail stores, they need people, right? 100, 200, 300. So therefore they engage a manpower supply contractors. They engage manpower supply contracts. Sir, I want 100 people for next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. So this manpower supply contractor supplies the manpower, 100, 200, 300. Now they will be working under the supervision of the retail store. Now whoever you are seeing, the sales people in the big shops, they are not directly employees of the particular store. It may be any big store. No. They will be hired from a manpower supply because it's a big task. They should have a separate wing for recruiting these people, and the people will be leaving, again recruiting. And for them I need to pay PF, ESI. It's a big headache. So I will outsource. The manpower supply contractor will supply the manpower. That is different. This is different. Here also the security agency will send some people, but it is limited to the providing security to the premises. You will see no ATM, in that ATM you will see a guard. Similarly on the stores also you will see guards. That is the service which is come. So don't confuse with supply of manpower services with security services. Now who should be providing? Any person other than a company. The service provider should be any person other than a company, and the service receiver should be a registered person, any registered person, including a company. Got the point? So I am a service provider. If I am a company, forward charge is applicable, reverse charge is not applicable. Getting the point? So it is clearly written, no? Any person other than a company. Here, any person. So if I am a company here, RCM is applicable? No. But I am a company here, non-company here, RCM applicable? Applicable. And another cases, I think we have already seen this somewhere. Where we have seen this? GTA service, goods transport agency, same language. If you are providing services to a department, establishment of the central government, state government, who have taken registration only for the purpose of TDS under section 51, for them it is not applicable. The other day we have discussed this. Second one, you are a composite dealer. Person paying tax under section 10, composite dealer, that is the next chapter. See here, I will give a table. You are a company, service receiver is also a company. Is it applicable? First condition itself not satisfied. It should be any person other than a company. But you are saying I'm a company. Next one. Other than a company, fine. This is satisfied. Any person including a company. Any person includes obviously company. Applicable or not? Yes. Then see. Any person. Unregistered dealer. He should be a registered dealer. It appears to be very small now, but when you sit in the examination hall, unless you remember each and every word, you cannot answer this. You will be confused unless you read it thoroughly. Okay? You will forget registered, the word registered. and in the examination the question will be unregistered. Oh, it is any person other than company, chalo, tax, reverse charge. No. Forward charge. If it is unregistered, how you will pay? Okay. Again, it will depends on clause to clause. So, if it is an unregistered dealer, no. Okay. So, read it carefully. Next, confusing entry. Renting of motor vehicle. Okay. You want to go for a long trip. What you will do? You will hire a cab. That is the service which is covered here. Renting a cab. You will go to a cab fellow and you will hire the cab. Okay. Services provided by way of renting of any motor vehicle, okay, designed to carry passenger vehicles. These cars are there, no? Generally we will take cars. Not lorries. Lorries are not covered here. Designed to carry passengers. And next, each one is a condition where the cost of fuel is included in the consideration. If the cost of fuel is not included in the consideration, that is not covered here. Where the cost of fuel is included in the consideration, charged from the service recipient, okay, and the next condition, provided to a body corporate. The service receiver should be and only should be body corporate, that means a company. Okay. So, it is very simple. The moment you say other than company, out. It is not tax, forward charge. Okay. See, generally what happens when you go to a rent a cab operator, you hire a vehicle. Generally, 99%, it is natural, they will use their own diesel or petrol. It is not that, sir, you pour the petrol, I will drive, like that. It will not be there. He will tell the consideration as a whole. He will say, sir, how many kilometers you will travel? Sir, we have to go 1 hour and come back. 120, 140, 240. Sir, 12 rupees per kilometer. Which is inclusive of fuel. Chalo, it is applicable. And if we are a company, hiring. So, any person other than a company. Again, if I am a company, not applicable. There are some travels, big travels, VRL logistics, etc. They are limited companies, private limited companies or public limited companies, not applicable. Other than a company, and the receiver should be company. See the notes. If the service provider is a company, RCM not applicable. Okay. If the service provider other than a company but issues tax invoice to the recipient with 12% GST, RCM not applicable. There are two rates. That is why I said another important slide. There are two rates. Okay. One is 5% and the other is 12%. That means if he charges 5%, input tax credit is not eligible for him. You got the point? Input tax credit, he cannot claim ITC if he is charging 5% tax rate. On the other hand, if he is charging 12% tax rate, he can take the credit of GST paid on purchasing of the motor vehicle. At the time of purchasing motor vehicle, the other party will charge 28% GST they will charge on motor vehicle. That he can, if he wants to avail the credit of tax so paid, then his output tax should be 12%. If we don't want to avail, 5%. So, in that case also, RCM not applicable. Very important slide. The service receiver must be a company to attract RCM. In other words, if the service receiver is not a company, RCM not applicable. Let us test our knowledge. Other than a company, and see one more condition is there. What is the condition? He should not issue with 12%. It is not enough. It is other than a company. Other than a company, second condition is what? Does not issue service invoice with 12%. If you read these three and if you remember, you can answer any question. Other than a company, providing to company, and does not issue 12% invoice. It should be a 5% invoice. Okay. Next, see, other than a company, okay, fine, and does not issue 12% rate, then yes. Company, is it applicable? Gone. If you are a company means you are straight away gone. Next, again company, gone. Other than a company, but issues tax invoice with 12% rate, gone. Okay? Chalo. See, in RCM what happens is, generally they don't give a tax invoice. Because who is liable to pay tax? Recipient. You will simply raise an invoice. It should not be technically a tax invoice, and you need not mention any rate also. In fact, you should not. You should write simply, this services attracts, note, this service attracts reverse charge mechanism, therefore you are required to pay GST under notification number 13/2017. That's all, over. The other party will take care. He has an option to pay 5% or 12%. Okay? Yeah. And then 9.4.
If the music company like AR Rahman is so the company will issue invoice to AR Rahman saying that you need to.
Company will see who is the service provider.
So he will issue an invoice.
What is reverse charge mechanism? Service recipient is liable to pay tax. Now AR Rahman will issue a document called invoice saying that so much are the charges, and below he will write value also. Value. He will write below. So this service attracts reverse charge mechanism under notification 13/17 as per serial number so and so. That's all. Now the other party, he should know, okay, this provision of copyrights, temporary transfer of copyrights attracts tax under reverse charge mechanism, and the rate of tax is 18%, and he has to pay under RCM. Got the point? It is not the vice versa. Why producer will give the invoice? It is always the service provider who should issue the invoice.
He doesn't know invoice and he will not be.
No, he should be. Whenever this is a temporary use you are granting, if you are permanently transferring your copyright, he is liable. And he is conducting live concerts where he is receiving consideration from organizers. He is liable to pay forward charge. Yeah. You got the point? Yeah. So, for them, only to this extent RCM. Okay. Any other way, if they are providing service, they are taxable. Okay. Next 9.4, another important area. Because initially 9.4 was there, service, any goods or services procured from an unregistered dealer are chargeable to tax. Any goods, by any registered person. The moment you are a registered person and you are procuring a tea from a tea shop, small tea shop, on that you are liable to pay GST under reverse charge mechanism under section 9 subsection 4. But immediately realizing the difficulty, it is very difficult. Even if you buy samosa for your employees from a opposite shop fellow, you are liable. How many times you will buy like that? How many times you generate the self invoice, and how many times you pay the tax? It is very difficult. You one fine day you may stop buying from them. All this process, no, I will buy to a restaurant who is registered. Otherwise, I need to account for it. I need to raise self invoice. I need to fill in the GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. I need to pay tax under RCM. So much compliance. Stop buying from them. Correct? Then immediately in October, around 12th, they revoked this provision. I told this at the time of discussion of 9.4. And now they said, I will specify the category of persons, registered persons, to be attracted under RCM under 9.4. I will specify. And I will also specify the type of goods or services which will be covered. Like how 9.3. So far we have said 9.3. They prescribed the type of service provider, type of service receiver, nature of service they provided. Correct? Similarly, here they will specify, see, if this registered person buys this product from that kind of unregistered person, RCM is applicable, otherwise not. Okay, this is one of the kind. This is under notification 7/19. There is a story for this. See, from 1/4/19, taxation of real estate has completely undergone a change. Earlier 18%, 1/3 abatement, 12% rate, and they can take input tax credit. The builders, whatever cement, iron, steel, etc. they buy for construction of this project, they used to claim ITC. It is very beneficial. That is the correct way actually. But then industry and people also started, 18% rate of tax on flat. Sir, we have given 1/3 abatement. Okay, still 12% rate of tax on 3 crores of flat I am buying. You are charging 12%. But the point is, here the cost of the sale does not include the input tax, because you are getting input tax credit benefit. We discussed in initial class. When you are entitled to input tax credit, what happens? That is, I buy cement bag 100 plus 28% GST 128, and I am entitled to ITC. Then what will be my cost? 100 or 128? 100. Because this 28 I will get ITC. Your cost of sales will become how much? 100 plus profit on that 12%. But now they removed, because you all crying, 12%, government is very bad. You are charging, that means you want a middle class person not to buy a home. All this kind of stuff will come. Even for the opposition it is an weapon. Then government seen, okay fine, 5%. 18 to 5. Excellent. No ITC. No problem, sir. 5 na? 18 to 5 or 12 to 5. Wonderful. Now what is the impact? 100 rupees cement bag, 28 rupees GST, 128. Let us say this is the only cost involved. On 128, calculate 5%. Some 6-7 rupees. How much is the selling price? 133. Now same thing, go back. 100 here I have not added the profit. That is 100 profit. 138. On 138, 5%. You can imagine. Now come back, old mechanism. 100. 20% profit. Let us say 120 into 12%. You can imagine. See, now you are calculating 5% only, but input tax 28 is already involved. That means you are paying 28 plus 5, 33% you are paying. This is the problem if you do not allow ITC. Double taxation, cascading effect. Correct? So people may not analyze like this. People will see 12 or 5, whichever is lower. Chalo. But this is the impact. They are losing. The customers are losing. Because they are paying 5% tax on a price which includes 28% tax. Or otherwise all others are 18%. On an average 22% is included in the cost. On that again you are paying 5%. Your selling price is only increasing, but you are thinking it has reduced more than 50%. 12% to I come down to 5%. Gone. Excellent government. Wonderful. But this is the problem. Now in that case, this is one condition, right? When they come down to 5%. And they said, if it is an affordable apartment, that means an apartment which is having less than or equal to 968 square feet carpet area. Carpet area. It is defined under the RERA. So 1%. If it is more than 968 square feet, 5%. Okay. No ITC. If the moment they say no ITC, people will start buying from unregistered dealers. Number 2, market will increase. Now there is a condition. Wait. You just like that cannot buy from whomever you want. At least 80% of the goods and services that you procure in a financial year should be procured from only registered dealers. Got the point? At least 80%, including your labor manpower supply. Manpower supply itself constitutes minimum 30%. Labor is so essential for construction of a building. So every year at the end of the year, what we will do for our clients? What are the total purchases of goods and services? Out of that, how many goods or services procured from registered dealers? How many are from unregistered dealers? What is the percentage of registered dealer to total? What is the percentage of unregistered dealer to total? If the percentage of registered dealer purchases to total purchases is less than 80%, let us say 60% only he bought. In that year, big project, let us say 10 crore total purchase of goods and services. In that, how much at least he should buy from registered dealers? 8 crore. He bought only 6 crore. Now 2 crore left out. 2 crore left out. Now in this 2 crore divide, make it 2 parts. Cement, others. Cement, others. On the cement, you pay, dear builder, because you violated the condition that you should purchase at least 80% of the goods and services from a registered dealer. You violated. So this 2 crore is the violation. In that, cement is 50 lakhs. You pay 28% under reverse charge mechanism. What the point? You pay 28% because cement attracts under reverse charge mechanism. Balance, irrespective of the actual rate applicable for that goods or services involved in that 1.5 crore, you pay under reverse charge mechanism 18% because you purchased from unregistered dealers. What is 9 for? Registered person procuring goods or services from unregistered dealer. This shortfall, what does it constitute? You already bought 20%. I said okay, it hota hai. 20% chalta hai. It is not that everyone in the country is registered. Okay, 20% I accept. But you crossed it. You done 40%. So I leave 20%. On the balance 20%, you pay under reverse charge mechanism. This is 9 for RCM. Okay. Have you ever read this point? Because it will be somewhere in notification 7/19. Okay, many textbooks also ignores this. Okay, so this is important. This is RCM. It is a beautiful kind of question. If I am the examiner, I should be asking questions like this. What is the, give an example of 9 for RCM. This is the 9 for RCM. It involves both goods and service. You purchased iron from unregistered dealer. You have taken manpower supply from unregistered labor contractor. It will be applicable. You just remember this. I will recapitulate. We will use this as a tax planning in discussing section 10. We will give you the tax planning also. 9.5. E-commerce operators. What we have read in 9.5? If a particular service, a prescribed service, if a specified service is supplied through, see, 9.5 covers only services. Okay. So, if a specified service is supplied through an electronic commerce operator, then neither the supplier will pay tax nor the recipient will pay tax. Neither it is a forward charge mechanism nor it is a reverse charge mechanism. This is some third kind of mechanism. Neither you are paying liable nor you are not. Some third party is coming into picture. See, actually, you are the seller, service provider. I am some urban clap kind of stuff. Okay, and through me you are receiving the service. For aggregating you both, being a supplier, you will pay some commission to me. So on that only I am liable to pay as a service provider. That is my service. But this is you are providing, he is receiving, government asking me to pay. Because even the money sometimes, many times routes through me. We will see what are they. Okay. And why? See, why is to increase the tax revenue. Because generally you will be below 20 lakhs. Okay. Let us say you are a cab operator. You will buy a small car or you will take it on rent and you will be registering with Ola, registering with Uber. Will you pay tax? No. No, they catch me. You pay tax. So indirectly that is also getting taxed. The consumer will be under the impression he is unregistered, he is not charging GST, but it will be inbuilt. We will see first one. Services by way of transportation of passengers by a radio taxi. What is radio taxi? Radio taxi is not like other taxis. Radio taxis will have a GPS tracking system. Okay. So the operator like your maybe Ola etc., where it is tracking, no? Even you can track where the vehicle is. That is radio taxi. It will be with the GPS tracking system. Then motor cab, normal, maxi cab, for number will be more, maxi. Motorcycle, rapido. Or any other motor vehicle other than omnibus. We will see what is omnibus. So in this class, except omnibus, if you use any other motor vehicle for what? Transportation of passengers, then the operator, electronic commerce operator, Rapido will pay GST, Ola will pay GST, okay? Uber will pay the GST. Driver or cab owner, you are unregistered. Consumer, traveler, you are unregistered. But e-commerce operator, it is mandatory to register even from the first rupee. No 20 lakhs, compulsory registration. So even on these transactions, government is getting revenue. You got the point? So all these Rapido etc. you are using, no, you are paying GST. Therefore, transportation of passenger service provided by any person using the above medium of transport through electronic commerce operator, the GST thereon shall be paid by such e-commerce operator. For example, Rapido. Okay. Next, see radio taxi, maxi cab, omnibus. Any motor vehicle constructed or adopted to carry more than 6 persons. So bigger things. Next, you see omnibus. Except where the person supplying such service through electronic commerce operator is a company. That is why they separated omnibus. If you are running omnibus and if you are a company, RCM is not applicable. I mean, electronic commerce is, we should not call it as RCM. Okay, the electronic commerce operator is not liable to pay tax. So in case of omnibus, the service provider should be only other than, other than company. Okay. Next, this is also we regularly do. Services by way of providing accommodation in hotels, in guest house, etc. meant for residential or lodging, except where the person supplying such service through electronic commerce operator is liable for registration. You want to go Tirupati, so you want to book a room at Tirupati below the hill. Okay, you go to Make My Trip, Ease My Trip, that trip, this trip. He is an electronic commerce operator. You log in, you book the hotel, and the hotel fellow, small person, below 20 lakhs, taxable. Actually, if he is not a registered dealer, you are not liable to pay register. Now they are also brought into the net. Now they are saying, if you are booking through electronic commerce operator and the person who is providing the service is liable for registration. If he is liable for registration, now we have to see two things. You are the hotel person, I am the make my trip, you are the consumer. Okay? You are booking the room through me. Now what we have to see, whether he is liable for registration or not. No sir, he is not liable for registration. Below 20 lakhs, I am liable to pay. Who am I? ECO, make my trip. This is case 1. Case 2, is he liable for registration? Yes sir, he is liable for registration. He is more than 20 lakhs. Then I am not liable. Who is liable? He is liable. Sir, how do make my trip know? Make my trip takes an undertaking, a declaration from all those vendors. Ask them. You send every month whether your aggregate turnover exceeded 20 lakhs or not. If it is exceeded, I will not pay. You will get a written mail. Dear vendor, please register and submit registration copy. See, practically this is what happens. It is not that they leave it. They will ask, you submit your, because if it is not registered, tomorrow department may catch me. May. Got the point? So, I will ask all my vendors, make my trip, will send a mail. Boss, if you are registered, send me your registered copy. Or if you are not registered, send me a declaration that I am not liable for registration as my turnover is below 20 lakhs. Okay, then I will pay. The moment I receive a declaration that sir, I crossed 20 lakhs but I have not registered, I will stop providing services to you. I will remove you from my list. This is what happens. I will remove you. Or I will tell him, register, submit the RC copy. Then I will add. Then you take care. I will not be take care. So they should be so equipped, identifying the vendors who are registered, unregistered. Unregistered, I will pay. Registered, you will pay.
Unregistered on total amount, e-commerce only will pay. If vendor is an unregistered.
Unregistered, I will pay. I will not take any risk.
How much will be total amount of consideration?
Obviously.
Only service?
See, what you are providing the service?
Renting of
Hotel. On that only I will pay. Your other transactions, how do I know?
No. One customer, he took 1500 rupees service from Make My Trip.
On entire 1500.
On entire 1500, e-commerce only will pay.
Yes.
And when I am registered,
I will reduce that and give it to you.
okay.
Obviously, this is your tax. Whose tax is this? Your tax.
And when I am registered,
When you are registered, I am not bothered.
for the service you.
Now you have to raise the invoice 1500 plus GST.
For
I will just collect and give it back to you.
service provided by you.
Not by me.
That acting as an aggregator, you charge some amount.
That is different.
For that also.
On that I will separate, that is separate invoice. There are two transactions here. One is you are providing service to her. Lodging accommodation services. Different. On that, whatever she is paying, on that I am liable to pay GST if you are unregistered. And if you are registered, I will just collect the money and give it to you. That is my job. I am an agent. I am a broker in between. Now, second transaction, I am providing a service to you. Okay, facilitating this platform, 100 rupees. Well, now you will get a separate tax invoice. 100 rupees plus 18% GST. Now you have to pay me. Any doubts? Okay, let me sum up. In the case of renting of hotels through an electronic commerce operator, then if the person providing the service, actually the hotel, if they are not liable for registration under the act because their turnover is, aggregate turnover is below 20 lakhs, then I will collect the tax from the other party and pay to the department. Over. On the other hand, if he is liable for registration or registered, see, by assumption is what? Assumption is the moment you are liable for registration, you will be registered. You should be registered. But as a precaution, I will ask you RC copy. Okay, you are liable for registration. I will not do anything. That is your headache. You cross 20 lakhs, no? It is your responsibility to register and pay the tax. I done? Now, my consideration. This is my money. I am providing a service to you. 100 rupees is payable for this transaction. Now again, another tax invoice. See, earlier tax invoice is from you to her.
Yes.
I have nothing to do. See, you are buying goods from Amazon. Okay? Your salary is in Delhi. Whose tax invoice you are getting? Amazon tax invoice or the Delhi person tax invoice? Delhi person tax invoice. Because I am not selling unless you buy Amazon products. Okay? Same thing here also. You are providing the service, she is receiving the service. Why should I be raising tax invoice? You only will raise the tax invoice. But the only thing is, after collecting the money, I will deduct the GST portion because you are not liable for registration and pay it because government said you pay. But even in that case, if you are liable for registration, I am not involved. I will collect the money and I will give it to you. Done? Important? Done. Housekeeping such as plumbing, carpenting, etc. Now so many websites are there now. So many apps are now. Correct? They will be calling you also. Sir, if you want any plumbing, carpenting, etc., we are providing. Or you may search plumbing services online. You will get so many apps or websites. You will go there. You will log in. Sir, I wanted my house to be cleaned. Urban Clap is a classic example. That is what is covered here. Small people, plumbing, carpenting, through Urban Clap. Even hair cutting also now is getting done. Correct? Beauty parlor, they will come home and do it. If you are a beautician, you can register with me, Urban Clap. Okay? And if you want, that is Srinivas getting married, Srinivas want makeup, bridal makeup. Now he will book the groom makeup. No, he is arranging maybe for his would-be fiancé, bridal makeup. But he is natural beauty, our Srinivas. Okay? So he doesn't want any kind of stuff. So bridal makeup he will book. So Urban Clap will transfer the request to the concerned beautician. The beautician will go to the Kalyan Mandapam, do the makeup, and they will go back. Now I am the person who is liable to pay tax. Okay? They will pay in advance, no? I will deduct the GST and give the balance. But is there still it is there. Such person through electronic commerce operator except where he is liable for registration. Now that beautician is very popular. Already crossed 20 lakhs. I have nothing to do. You take care. I will raise my invoice, service charge. You pay. Clear? See, small people also now indirectly in the tax net. That beautician, how much turnover she may do? He or she. Correct? 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs. But who is liable to pay GST under the Act? Person who crossed 20 lakhs. Now we are collecting tax even from the people below 20 lakhs. In indirect tax, further indirect tax. So indirectly you are collecting from people who are much below 20 lakhs. Carpenter, housekeeping, plumber. A plumber, you will pay maybe 500. Of course, now they are also costly affair. Okay, okay. If they come and open the tap, you will say, sir, 1,000 rupees is the charge. That's a different story. And restaurant services. I agree, very beautiful point. It says restaurant service. Now, you are ordering the food, Zomato, Swiggy and all, from a small buddy. That buddy is registered with Zomato, Swiggy. Nowadays, what is there? Even a idli shop, small roadside idli shop, they are having Zomato tie-up. Now you order food. Now the restaurant, that is a restaurant. Restaurant means what? Where you go and eat. Now we are getting parcel to the home. It is a service. Now restaurant service provided by them through Zomato, Swiggy, Zomato, Swiggy will collect GST from you. Otherwise, they are exempted. He may be doing 1 crore business, that is a different story. Roadside shops always busy. No? 20-30 people, you will be fighting. Hey, my plate. I came first, you given him, who came in next. Correct? We don't know how much business he is doing. But you pay. Similarly, all restaurants, CA Rama parlor, you take any restaurant, they don't pay. They have 2 sales. Direct sales through e-commerce operator, Zomato, Swiggy. If they are selling through Zomato, Swiggy, they will not pay. Direct sales, they will pay if they are registered. Okay? But if such a restaurant is located in specified premises, what is the specified premises? It is a hotel. Providing accommodation services, lodging services, where per day room tariff is rupees 7,500 or more. You are located in such a premises. You are a restaurant and you are located in such a premises, which is called specified premises. What do you mean by specified premises? In which there are accommodation services where per day room tariff is how much? 7,500 or more. In that case, this e-commerce operator liability doesn't come. The restaurant only will pay. Because generally restaurant services are chargeable at 5%. But for them it is 18%. Because big hotel, no hotel there is a restaurant? Yes. But you may order from Novotel also. You will order from Grand Bay also. You will order from Taj also. But they are specified premises where the per day room tariff is rupees 7,500 or more. Then they themselves will have to pay the GST at the rate of 18%. In all other cases, e-commerce operator will pay. Okay, clear? That is all about section 9 of the Act. 9.1 charging section, 9.2 exclusion of certain products, petroleum products, 9.3 RCM read with notification number 13/2017 list, 9.4 read with 7/2019 unregistered dealers, 9.5 e-commerce operations. With that, section 9 is completed. So we are done with section 7, section 8, section 9. Today let us try and complete section 10 also quickly. Just take 2-3 minutes break. We will catch up. Stop it.